let's get ourselves into this one. Johnny starting off over towards Manfield. We have ourselves a best of 7. And despite the fact that we have both predicted for Dignitas to take the win here, what is the key if they're to take down BDS?
They've just got to be confident. They've got to be quick. They've got to be aggressive. The way that they beat BDS in the winter split when Mark was still on the roster was just by being faster, being more mechanical, and really not giving Dignitas or not giving BDS any space to work with. Whereas a lot of teams feared BDS back in the day and still do, and they just conceded the entire midfield to this team. And BDS would eventually just batter down the defense doors. But if Dignitas can get out there and take the fight to BDS, that is, for me, the biggest win condition. But BDS, this is new territory for them. We haven't seen this team in the lower bracket this whole split. This is the first time that they've lost with Seiko on the roster the day that happened. But let's see how they bounce back from that.
And I'm going to give the smallest of all rays of hope towards Dignitas fans out there, which is despite how dominant BDS were last season, they can never quite round out the 3 in a row. I know, such unbelievable underperformances from a team that's merely winning regional after regional after regional. Maybe Dignitas can be the team to do it. If they are, then they need not to whiff it in the corner.
Yeah, needed to be a touch coming through here from Jack. I think he didn't get the read on that corner bounce. Similar position to the corner bounce that actually fooled him and sent them out of last tournament, regional number 2 against Luminosity. So yeah, Jack not having a lot of fun reading those back corner bounces these days. Just surprising, because no doubt he's seen that one a whole lot in the past. It is BDS to open the scoring here. Dignitas getting a close-up look at the blue net now, and oh, great demo. Scrub's there to finish it, but Jack redeems himself with a brilliant little solo play.
Yeah, this is really where BDS do their best. I mean, Dignitas do their best work is just keeping the ball on the floor, getting the pass, and still being available with the passing player to wipe out the goalkeeper. That's the bread and butter for Dignitas in this series. And they're going to need to try and pull it off as often as they possibly can. I'm also wondering how contract talks between Dignitas and Mr. Post have gone. Because if he's re-signed, then it might be a little bit more difficult for BDS to find their way through. Well, for now, they're not going to need him.
Yeah, he was very helpful in the series that they played earlier on today. Another long shot goes in. Extra's chasing it down. He is going to get there. BDS looking vulnerable. Now everybody knows they can be beaten. Endpoint have shown us that BDS are not the unstoppable monster that we thought they were. They're just slightly less stoppable, but definitely stoppable on occasion. The monster. They're, I think, still the heavy favorites here. You know, I said at the start of this one, my heart says Dignitas just for the storyline, for the drama. BDS are already confirmed, but I think my head is pretty 50-50 on this one, if I'm honest with you guys. It's such a tough one to predict, given the days these two teams have had, given the tournaments that they've both had. Seiko wanting to prove that he can bounce back from adversity on this roster. He was the scorer of the opening goal. BDS, for the majority of this first game, have had control.
Yeah, definitely needed the support of apparently Jack, who realized Seiko was moving in to find the shooting angle. Jarius goes low, actually, and I thought that might actually trouble Monkey Moon a little bit. Sorry, that was definitely not the case. Pinches the ball and launches it to the opposite side of the field. It's now BDS continuing to mount some offense, but Joris does have apparently Jack, who's going to chase down Seiko, who avoids being bumped, gets rid of it temporarily, and gets the second block. Seiko proving that defense is something he knows extraordinarily well.
Yes, so impressive by Seiko to get away from that Jack's bump and easily save Jari's flip reset shot, and then recover to save another shot as well. He just stopped all 3 Dignitas players single-handedly. Seiko doing so much for BDS on defense. We forget sometimes that he is such a great defender because he steals the show with his big plays in offense all the time. Dignitas are hanging in this one pretty well. They're not backed up into a corner the way that they were at the very start of this game. This is all that they can really hope for in the matchup. If they get to advance, if they get to take shots on net, then they'll fancy their chances. Storias outplays one, but Seiko knew better than to commit. Oh my goodness, what a read Storias! With hardly any boost, still smashes the rebound into the roof of the net.
Look at that. Used the right amount of boost and just stuck with it. Oh, beautiful shot. And you gotta say, BDS were just spectators towards something like that. 94 seconds for BDS to get back into this. And whilst you are right about BDS probably having more of the ball, it's been very good across field defense this time around from Dignitas. They are not being forced into many tough positions, not being forced at all into goal line saves.
Which is crazy to think that a player like this, Jorius, can make that play and not make London, but that's just the reality for Dignitas at the moment. What an unbelievable player he is when he's on form, but Dignitas haven't been on form for most of this split. Still a chance to make London. They need to win this entire event, and they need Endpoint to lose twice in a row tomorrow. It's not completely in their own control. They'll be relying on Moist to start off that run for them, but you know, should Moist beat Endpoint in the upper bracket, then it will be fully in Dignitas' hands whether or not they go to London. It isn't at the moment, but it could very well be by tomorrow.
No, right now, BDS can just focus on the two very major roadblocks ahead of them, which is both BDS and Team Liquid waiting for them in the next round. No one ever said it was going to be easy, and it certainly isn't going to be for Dignitas, but for now, they need to hold on to this lead. The bump does not help. Two players committed. That's still going to end up going in. Seiko with the 1v2.
He had the 1v3 in offense, and now he's done the same thing at the other end. Jorius got bumped out of the play. Jack and Scrubkiller both knew that Seiko was trying to air dribble bump them here, and they didn't get a good save onto it. In fact, no save at all. It did, in fact, just go directly in from the initial shot out of Seiko. Did enough. BDS are back in it. Dignitas having to fight so hard for this one. They knew they would have to. And Scrubkiller 50-50s the ball off the far post. Jorius commits. Jack alone at the back briefly. Monkey Moon fakes him out. Jack got a piece of that one. Forced Monkey to lose control.
Just to go low on the challenge. It's Jorius already up. Don't really have the support required, although that touch from Monkey Moon will at least entice Jack forward a little bit further. Instead, just going to bring the ball back down to the floor with our first overtime of the series.
Dignitas with the better mid-game, but BDS with a strong start and a strong finish. Is that going to continue? Jorius is trying to read his own backboard, does so brilliantly. Looks like Jack is still having problems with that corner bounce. Every time the ball's bouncing off of the corner wall, he looks uncomfortable, and he missed that one as well. He's missed several of these between last regional and this regional. It's a very unusual issue for a player like Jack, who's played so much 1v1 in his time, so many times. He's had so much practice reading that bounce in particular. It must be in his head at this point that he keeps getting it wrong.
I think for Jack, especially the season that he's had, will sort of look at moments like that as just another, okay, really, again? There's been a few occasions throughout the season where it's just gone wrong completely out of nowhere. And it's something that he'll probably want to start putting behind him, because overall, his performances have been incredible. He does lay the pass over to Scrubkiller. Not going to have Jorius in the midfield like he may have wanted. Off the demo, and the option was taken away. Jorius available yet again. Might get the second touch. Does. A bump on Monkey Moon. But it was up to apparently Jack whether or not they wanted to go for the full commit. Ended up backing down on it. And overtime, where one goal does make the difference, you are going to want to make sure it's at least 95% certain you're going to score before you send the whole team. Back midfield, two players over there. Infield pass, not an option. Extra's going to try and take this one back down, but Jorius bides his time. Extra crunches through that one. Only ever really had one mind as to what he was going to do. Extra now all the way back. Going to have to buy some time up the wall. This is brilliant play from Extra, because now he's got the team back in position.
Well, Jack managed to sneak the ball past him somehow. Extra's 50-50 game finally taking an L. Scrubkiller low boost, double, triples, denied by Seiko. Dignitas knocking on the door, but BDS not letting them in. Both teams, you have to give them credit for how they're controlling the ball in defense. They're really inviting challenges in, trying to force overextensions, but likewise neither team overextending as they manage their boost as best as they can. Extra out of it in that moment, but he goes for the far side boost steal. That does allow Dignitas a moment to try and attack Seiko, but Seiko does more than just defend. He finds Monkey Moon lurking downfield, and now he's the one who's collected the rebound. Scrubkiller strong in the way of another threat that Seiko has brought to the table. He's been such a consistent problem since he joined BDS, but Jack, air dribble bump and the win. He might have had a few hiccups in the back corner, but every other aspect of his game has been solid. And he's used the unstoppable move on Monkey Moon to win game one for Dignitas.
Just watch that from his POV. There was only ever one thing on his mind as soon as he got there. Understood that the outplay on Monkey Moon was not there. But you could just get rid of Monkey Moon and that'll work so much better for him. But that really was the story of Jack throughout the entirety of this game. He was the player that had both the outplays and the misplays, but ends up getting just enough of the correct one in order to give his team that win. For BDS, though, I think they'll be reasonably happy with what they've seen. They understand that they are getting a solid amount of positioning and a little bit of space in order to try and come up with the plays that they want. But what they've got to deal with is one of the strongest defenses out there in the RLCS.
This is already turning into exactly the series that we wanted for those reasons. Dignitas all look good today. The full team. We didn't really talk much about Scrubkiller, but that's because he just silently and quietly and consistently did his job from start to finish in this game. No mistakes. And Jack, immediately bouncing back from his one earlier mistake to allow a BDS goal by setting up one at the other end of the field with a great solo play and finishing the game with another big solo play. So it's really just a game of solo plays, really. And we haven't seen too much in the way of passing. Both teams a bit afraid to try any risky passes as the interceptions are always being threatened.
I mean, we're
keep up this level. I think they're going to be the best play style to beat BDS based on what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I think not seeing the infield pass isn't necessarily a massive surprise from Dignitas, but to not get it from BDS is kind of a big indictment of what they expect from Dignitas' defense, because we've gone now from just not merely predicting these infield passes, but we're starting to see people pre-jump them throughout some parts of this tournament. It has been a very unexpected development, but a scary one nonetheless. Monkey Moon off the backboard, might get there in time, and instead, apparently Jack didn't even try and push it to his own corner, felt comfortable enough to get the negative angle shot. This is, however, a good start for BDS, exactly where they want to be, stealing boost. Slowly figuring out where the gaps are, and they've got the fake out, but as always with Dignitas, just how quick their recoveries are means that you're not going to get a slow play like that in their side of the field. They'll always get another player back.
Dignitas are reading the 50-50 game of BDS pretty well at the moment. BDS trying to fake a lot of these challenges and keep control of the ball. But Dignitas every single time making sure to just get a piece of it. Make sure you never miss the ball entirely. Don't give the mind game to BDS. That's when they could be so dangerous, especially players like Seiko. If you give him one mind game, you know he's going to have full control of the ball and take it past your teammate as well. Just getting that first touch with your first challenge. Key to slowing BDS down up until now is Jack does well in the back corner there. And I'm looking at his back corner play through a microscope right now to make sure that he's got it all figured out. That was perfectly done.
Oh, good fake as well, but Seiko already had it covered. And really, the big matchup here to keep an eye on is extra on those challenges, especially in the midfield, because it will be up to him to try and maintain the offensive pressure for his team. Those fakes are coming through from Dignitas as well. It's so hard to tell when they're going to try and take it for a ridiculous angle shot, or when they're just going to try and leave it for a teammate. Scrub just powers the ball to a small gap that he sees in the defense, gets his team some time. Seiko, though, off the backboard, leaves it, 0 boost, called for Monkey Moon, top corner.
Huge. Great play from Seiko, threatening the double tap, but he knows this whole time that he doesn't have it. He's just angling his car to make it look like he does. Calls for Monkey Moon to come in and collect the ball. Monkey Moon flicks it top corner over the Dignitas defense, but all eyes were on Seiko as he came in for the double tap. It's almost unthinkable that Seiko wouldn't have a double in that situation, so Dignitas can't really be blamed for expecting one. But phenomenal comms from BDS to call the fake early.
The start of this game has definitely looked more in BDS's favor in terms of play style. Dignitas managed to do a very good job actually in the last game of keeping up their sort of tone of game that they wanted to play. Now they've got Scrubkiller all by himself. Must do well. A couple of bumps in the backfield though means that the recovery is late, and unfortunately the post was only good for one save.
As Seiko just crushed the first challenge, beat Jack to the punch and demoed him, and Jarius couldn't read the post bounce. He would have had to just throw himself hopefully at that to have any chance of saving it. But he didn't know that. He flipped into position, realized that the position he's in is pretty useless. And before he could do anything, Seiko's already on him for the second goal. BDS looked like they were being pretty evenly matched for most of this series, but a sudden burst of pace and aggression puts them up by 2. Started off with Seiko's trickery, finished off with his mechanics and speed.
Scrub looking to try and create some space for his squad. He needs some support over there. Joris now finally moving in. Look at Extra. No rush on the way he was playing it. Just slightly guides the ball away. Now it's Extra off the fake out. Probably the bump or the bounce that they just didn't want to see. And rolling into a much more difficult shooting position, but Extra still has options around. That one is Seiko. Apparently Jack knew where that was going to go, always covered it. Joris from the ceiling, not the angle to try and get a pass over, so has to go for the musty, gets a second touch. Seiko had the angle covered. It is apparently Jack's turn. Shot too high, needs the support of Scrub. And the shot once again shut down.
Yeah, it looked like Jack wanted a goal there. You know, oftentimes shooting high is a good thing to do. Bait the jump out of the goalkeeper and then leave the rebound free for your teammate. But with BDS all back and ready to follow up on any kind of touch there, I think Jack's got to hit the target. He's got to go top corner. Just got to rely on his shooting accuracy. He didn't get it right that time. Now time is getting away from Dignitas. Monkey Moon wasting what little they do have with the air dribble flip reset. Dignitas trying to get a late counter attack started, but BDS thwarting every opportunity. They have been so quick to the ball in this second game compared to the first. So hold on, Jack might actually have this. Tried for it. Joris with the follow-up, and he gets the ball underneath the pre-jumping defender. 13 seconds left. Almost out of nowhere, Jack gets a block on Monkey Moon's clear as ceiling height, and it leads to a Dignitas goal.
I really love that from Joris, that he went for placement rather than power. Despite the clock ticking away, understood that they have to get it in on this shot. Managed to put it underneath into the bottom corner. Now they've got an opportunity at this. Apparently, Jack and Seiko shuts it down, gets rid of it. Jack, though, back to Joris. It's over. And BDS will see the ball hit the floor and look at the game and say, oh, we just about got away with that one. Dignitas 1, BDS 2, and it couldn't have been any closer.
Oh no, I can hear Jack. I can almost hear his voiceover of this open net miss. Anyone who watches his YouTube videos knows that he loves to, anytime there's an open net for him to score, in one of his 1v1 videos, he loves to say, there's an open net for us. And then after missing, finishes off his own sentence by saying, to miss, of course. So yeah, that probably was another open net for him to miss, of course, unfortunately. But oh dear, they did so well to create 2 chances in 13 seconds. Both of them looked like guaranteed goals, but the shooting just wasn't good enough. Jack probably afraid to hit the bar on 0 seconds, but overcompensated by shooting too low.
Yeah, I think from just the amount of 0 seconds goals that we have seen throughout this entire split, we've kind of forgot how difficult it is to get it right. And unfortunately for apparently Jack, he just could not get it right this time around. And that does put BDS right back into this, 1 each. In this best of 7, reminder as well, both teams do have access to that timeout, something that BDS didn't tend to use at the start of this season, but with the new coach in, I've seen a little bit more frequent use of it, especially earlier on today. Here is Extra, who really was orchestrating a lot of the best of what BDS had to offer in the last game. Seiko, and with Extra in field, Extra's shot is on target, but not much else.
That's great defense from Jack again. Look at Seiko. What a troublemaker! What a facilitator! Setting up his teammates every time he gets onto the ball. And that last touch to pop the ball to Extra was exquisite. Any harder and it's going to go too far away from him. Any softer, the defenders got it. Seiko manages to get the perfect balance.
And the thing is, Extra's there. Like, he knows. For some reason, BDS just always seem to know what the player is capable of and to get somebody over into that position. Exquisite once again from the BDS offense, and it's a team that, despite a bit of a hiccup towards the end of the last game, have got more and more in control as we've gone through. Monkey Moon now in, looks for the top corner, finds the top corner.
They're just so efficient, it's crazy. Seiko popping the ball into the ceiling, Monkey Moon first to it and completely nails the shot. That is just so fast from BDS. For Seiko to know that hitting the ball vertically is a better pass than trying to get it any further forward. For Monkeyman again to follow up so quickly, it's like you mentioned, they just seem to know before the opponents do exactly where the ball is going. But it's not comms. You can't communicate in that kind of time frame. You just have to know. You have to trust. You have to read your teammate. That's what BDS are doing.
I think you have to look at it from the defender's point of view. You're sat on the goal line with the ball there, and you have to cover, possibly if it being backboard for a setup, a shot straight on target. Maybe he's going to just try and take it under his own control for a solo play. And then you've now got the ceiling set up to try and contend with as well. It's just so many options. And BDS usually pick the one that you can't deal with as Jorius. It was very fancy with the in and out attempt for a shot. Usually follow up with an attempt at a save, but instead it's Seiko blasting the ball into Scrub Killer. And you get the feeling that if Dignitas are going to make this magical run,
oh man,
they're going to need BDS to step off the gas a little bit. This is a horrifying BDS to play against.
Yeah, I think they're going to need to just manage their boost a little bit more patiently. I've seen 3 plays this game where Jorius is using his final 30 boost for completely speculative efforts on net. The things that are just never going to work. Why not just save that 30 boost to recover and have another play on the ball? Jack able to recover from a bump and save a second shot as well. That was great defense. I think the focus on recoveries at both ends of the field is something Dignitas need to do. As you see Jack now, 0. His recovery is just so slow here. That just gives BDS so much time to attack and to just waste time off the clock as well. You're just saving a little bit of boost every time to recover. I think you're going to do a much better job as Dignitas. Now Jory is down to 0. They just keep on landing on that BDS backboard with absolutely no boost left. And, you know, 12 or even 20 can make such a big difference compared to having absolutely none.
The news for Dignitas, though, is that they always seem to have moments in every single one of these games. I get the feeling that they'll at least get something big before time runs out on this one. The problem is what's the scoreline going to be before that even ends up happening? Will BDS find that third goal? Monkey Moon over to the wall, past one player, does have Seiko in the midfield, although there was still players loitering around in the blue side of the field. Extra has to try and dart around as many of them as he possibly can. Become an expert of just avoiding demos over the last year plus. Good sustained offense though for Dig. Scrub Killer, midfield, can't get the ball to him. Do not want to give up on this offensive push. They're not going to have much of an option on it. Although they're in, apparently Jack shot, pre-jump save by Monkey Moon. Not only do they know what their teammates are doing, they know what you're doing.
I mean, that's demoralizing for Dignitas. For Monkey Moon to pre-jump save almost effortlessly. A brilliant setup and a perfect shot onto the target. That shot that would test a lot of goalkeepers even at the highest level. Monkey Moon just swats it clear as if it's not even there, but not able to get this one. And a center ball that looked a lot less juicy does result in a goal. Scrub Killer able to get it past the last man. Extra just slightly too far forward, and all it took was one small, car length too far forward in the net, and suddenly there's a chance for Dignitas. I don't think they need to really overextend. They're getting chances, like you mentioned, when they have sustained pressure. It's those complete all-in moves for one-and-done offensive plays that don't seem to be working for them.
You know, Jorius up against Extra, and Extra did cover the instant clear angle. Go off Jorius downfield, though. He doesn't have much boost. Still goes for the shot. I think with a little bit more, he might have been able to get in front of it. Enough for the infield pass. Jorius again. It's going to drop for him. Pinch, and didn't find the power. It was always going to be so difficult to time, but Monkey Moon has to get a good save. He doesn't. Jorius has Jack, and he's got Scrub. They haven't put the play together. Jack still keeps it alive. But now Scrub Killer has to find an ultimate angle. It's not going to happen. And BDS have got their second. And this just keeps on happening, Johnny. It's 4.5 minutes of BDS being well and truly on top. And then Dignitas just find a small flurry towards the end.
Yeah, they look good while doing it. I think Dignitas' constant pressure looks great. It looks, to me, like it will yield chances on that if they can just be patient, be disciplined with their boost, and just stop going all in for nothing. Stop going all in for chances that are just never going to go in against BDS. These like super speculative dunks and throwing yourself at the ball for no reason. I like when Dignitas are trying to play a little bit cleaner against BDS, and even today they've looked really good in the matchup when they just let their mechanics do the talking and just play with a bit more patience. BDS in this game had by far the majority of the pressure. They were getting so many chances and so much sustained pressure because Dignitas would take one shot and then BDS would take 3 or 4 and they wouldn't go all in for any of those. It would just be constant boost steals, constant pressure. Dignitas, I know they can do that because when they were at their best, they were the boost steal team. They were the team who were just outpacing the opponents in the final third, but you've got to save a little bit of your own boost every time you attack to do that. You can't be landing on 0 boost below supersonic speed. Let's see if they can correct that going into this game. Strong finishes are great, but it'd be nice not to need one with a good start.
Scrub killer, pretty jump from Jarius, who was forced to do it after nearly being demoed by Seiko. Monkey Moon for once finds himself too far forward. Tried to be at least some sort of passing lane for his teammate. Extra drops it down. And BDS just always have this style of play in the bag.
Yeah, Extra had a bit of time on this one. And he had Seiko in the middle. Appjack trying to get there first, but BDS just know. They just know exactly when to arrive. They know exactly where to be for the receiving of your teammate's pass. It's consistently better than anyone at synergizing in that final third. That's been the Dignitas issue. I don't think they can really do much about that. You can't really fault Jack for getting beaten there. BDS are just playing so quickly. It's about creating their own chances consistently for Diggs. Monkey Moon's shot forces the pre-jump, goes wide. BDS circling here, trying to get another chance. They're not going to be happy with a 1-goal lead, never are. I think they'll be very happy with a 2-game lead should this game continue the way it is.
Oh, that's a good win as well. Jarius tries to get back. He's got a little bit of support. Has to get up there. An Extra will finally get away. Seiko keeps the pressure on. That's Extra's turn. He set up from here earlier. Almost found another way past Scrub Killer, but Scrub's done a really good job here, actually, getting his team a little bit of space to work with. Unfortunately, it's not worked out for them, and they might have been down by 2 had the shot not been off target by Monkey Moon.
Yeah, it's all BDS at the moment. They have more coverage in the Dignitas half than Dig do. Dig are piling up in the box, and they're just scrambling to try and get the ball clear. Meanwhile, BDS are covering clears on either side. They've got the midfield completely locked down when they're attacking. Dignitas just need to calm down. I think they did a really good job in game 1 and 2, controlling the ball in defense, but mainly game 1, just never panicking, just controlling the ball, allowing BDS to come to them. And in this game, it's all been panic stations. And can you blame them, Seiko? Here dribbles another one in. There's just no way for Jarius to get a good enough hitbox in this one. Abjack panic flipped after calling he's going to go 2-0 BDS.
Yeah, you've pulled that one perfectly right there as well, because Jarius just started to realize far too late that, oh no, Jack actually can't go for this one. He just couldn't get his car in front of the ball enough. That might be free. It certainly is. Seiko, hat-trick hero. And it's just far too easy at the moment for BDS.
He just knows. He just knows exactly where Extra is going to put the ball. I mean, that's not a crazy pass, but he didn't really get much. All the Extra just tapped the ball, and Seiko's in the perfect line to come in and hit it. He's arriving at the perfect speed. It really is quite crazy that every time the ball centers, Seiko's just there. He knows exactly where to be. Extra's now keeping the score 3-0 with a good save in defense. Yeah, that's 2 assists for Extra, 3 goals for Seiko. Monkey Moon's been working in defense. He's got 3 saves to his name. That, it really shows how diverse this team is. You don't need Monkey Moon and Seiko to be creating the goals. Extra's doing it this game. Triple threat BDS back at their best.
Monkey Moon currently in the net.
Oh dear.
Monkey Moon, I think, is now starting to go for some style, from what I saw from the way he approached the fence that time around. It's Extra towards that backboard. Scrub Killer misses it. This is happening far too often for Dignitas. And again, it's the orange team's left wall that they just keep misreading.
Yeah, he knew a bump was coming towards him this time, so he jumped early. And it proved to be too difficult to read for him to connect with. But the fact he's in a position to be bumped in the first place is definitely a mistake. So Scrub Killer kind of putting himself in a place that can lead to misplays if the opponents come in for the demo, which of course they will. I mean, why would you not go for the demo there as first man? It's the perfect play for BDS to go for. And an easy 4-0 after the miss came through from Scrub. Dignitas kind of fallen apart here, and after such a promising start, it's a shame to see. It looked like, if nothing else, a good showing for them. And even if they are going to lose, well, at least they've done so against BDS and they've brought the best out of them. But this game is one to forget for Dig fans, who are rapidly becoming more and more desperate. Dignitas hopes of qualifying for the London Major disappearing rapidly, and BDS looking like they're done with losing in this tournament. Seiko reads the downward bounce to perfection and makes it 5-0.
And this is probably the happiest Endpoint fans have ever been to see BDS 5-0 up in a single game. Reminder again, BDS win this, Endpoint clinch the major, and Dignitas are out of London potential. And right now, there is looking like there's going to be very little that can potentially stop that from coming true. Jorius, it's a bit speculative at the moment, needs some help. 5-0, you would not imagine BDS are going to be dropping this from here. Dignitas timeout after this, Johnny. Prediction, yes or no?
I think they should take one. I'm not sure if they will, because the way that this looks, I think they might just say, let's just get it over with. let's just go and play the last game. Is there any hope of winning 3 straight against BDS? Maybe not. Maybe our prediction looking a bit silly right now. Although at the start of the series, it looked like a genius prediction to make. Dignitas, they've clearly got problems bouncing back from things going wrong. They were reverse swept multiple times at Winter Major, and now again in the Spring Split. As soon as they lose one game here to an open net miss, they just start rushing their offense in game 3. Their boost management goes out the window, and now it's all falling apart. It just goes from bad to worse to absolutely worst for Dignitas, it seems. And if they can't figure out a way to bounce back from adversity, which is always inevitable in Rocket League, at some point you're going to face a challenge. And if they can't figure out a way to deal with those situations, they've got some real problems ahead of them. Whether that's at Worlds Wildcard or Worlds, or maybe still at London, if they can get it together right now. But I'm no longer a believer. This is looking like BDS just running away with it. I would be surprised if we go to game 6.
Well, especially off the back of a 7-0. I mean, we've sort of stopped discussing the possibility. Are we going to see the infamous number? Bad BDS. I'm not a fan anymore. Monkey Moon is going to see if they can maybe add number 8. Extras opportunity. Might have somebody around, but ran out of boost. And 7-0. Scrub Killer instantly leaves the lobby. He did change car coming into this. At least that's what he said, and we do get the confirmation. Dignitas have taken the time out. It felt like if they are to have a chance at this absolutely had to happen. But you made a good point when we talked a second ago, Johnny, about Dignitas struggle when things are going wrong. And when this new format was brought in for Season X, this is something that we were most interested in, because with the old league play format, you got 4 wins and you were good. You could ride 2 weeks of momentum and you were already there. But this is a format that, unless you're riding the level of form that BDS and G2 have been, you're gonna have to deal with losses. And that is almost more important than your ability to string together multiple wins in a row, because once you take that loss, it has to be right back in there, consistently getting top tier points.
Yeah, and even on a smaller scale, in a fast-paced game like Rocket League, misses are almost inevitable, and misreads, open net misses, the likes of which we've seen, whiffs on tough wall reads. These things happen even to the very best players in the world, and you just have to move on from that. You have to be able to act as if every game is a game 1. Because game 1, Dignitas looked fantastic in this matchup. I think they were playing patiently. They were playing calmly under pressure when BDS were coming at them. They were controlling the ball. They weren't just giving it away and crowding the goal area, being afraid of shots. They were spreading out. They were covering multiple angles. Clearly, they had it figured out. They had a system that was working, making them look competitive in the matchup. But as soon as that one open net miss occurred, it all went downhill. I think you could see a clear difference in the way the Dignitas are defending and the way that they're panicking, the way they're just boosting for no reason. that's the point for me that they've got to realize, that they've got to try and iron out, because these are talented players. I think their current form is making a lot of Rocket League fans forget how good this team is and how good these players are. We've seen incredible things from this Dig squad throughout the season, and even flashes of brilliance in this weekend as well. They've still got it, but consistency is their big problem. Bouncing back from those things that are inevitably going to go wrong is something that they've got to figure out. They've got to do it now, or they're going to be out of the spring split, and they're going to have a lot to think about before Worlds at the end of the year.
Yeah, and they're definitely still at least very fresh when it comes to the RLCS scene. I mean, they've already played so many games in the last year plus that they've been at least eligible to participate. But that's also the thing about Rocket League, is that there's always fresh talent coming on in, and you've got to be able to fight up against them. We can see Team Liquid are those players at the moment. They've now taken up the position that Dignitas were at this stage last season. And they'll get to see what they can do. Can they fight back to this? And what was said during that brief interlude between the last game and this one, not to fully take away as well from what Dignitas have been doing here, because I feel like some of it would be somewhat harsh if we don't point towards that game 3 and say BDS have been unplayable at some stages.
Yeah, they always are. I think BDS, when they get it together, they are just unplayable. As Monkey connects to Seiko once again, and Seiko continues his scoring spree that he's been on this series. That's the pass that I think Dignitas should be reading, one that is a bit more telegraphed, and from that distance, you don't really have to worry too much about the direct shot. I think, backboard, infield, air dribble are the 3 things you've got to be covered in. So that's definitely on Dig to not be ready for that one. But I won't say I'm surprised at this point with how much they've struggled to remain composed and cover all those angles the later the series has gone on.
Seiko gets the ball back down to Monkey Moon. Joris actually unintentionally infield pass, and that's what leads to the setup. And you can get all of those good feelings during that short break that you have to chat through it all, but 2 goals within a single minute, and all those good feelings would have just gone for Dig.
They're just so decisive. As soon as a bad touch comes through, BDS just bim bam the ball and it's in your net. Just one, two quick touches and it's in the goal. Just instantly. As soon as somebody mishits the balls, it's inevitable. BDS are inevitable. And they're showing great stuff here after completely falling apart. Oh, that's an unreal post-pinch save from Jack. They've got a lot more work to do, but that's the start. Yeah, this is a new territory for BDS, I remind you guys. They haven't lost this split. They haven't lost with this roster until today. So now we're seeing what they can do in the same day that loss occurred in the lower bracket. Pressure's on for BDS here, not to qualify for London, but just to show that they can, like we've been talking about for much of this matchup, bounce back from adversity, something Dignitas have struggled to do. BDS have passed that test of flying colors.
BDS just saw what Falcons did over in MENA and thought, you know what, 16 grand final wins in a row? Sounds pretty good to me.
I think it was 17, I believe. Only
they
17 game wins in a row in grand finals for Falcons in the MENA region, and that's games, not series. Between 3 different splits, they were undefeated 17 games in a row. Yes, chat, that's right. They swept 4 best of 7s in a row in grand finals. And only lost actually they won the next one 4-2 as well, so it's still a series win. BDS are probably looking at it thinking, if they can do it, why can't we? We're still undefeated in grand finals. Let's try and extend our spree, and the only way you can do that is by going to the lower bracket and doing it twice with the double sweep. Maybe that's what they've got planned.
Yeah, they'll get themselves to 16 and then focus on getting 17 and 18 at the major.
Exactly,
that'll be the thinking, as Monkey Moon can't quite find the setup. 2-0 though, and this has been a very comfortable game so far for BDS, who are only down here because of our unrelenting endpoint squad that were able to beat them earlier on. They will be in tomorrow's upper bracket finals up against Moist eSports. Seiko ends up missing the ball. Does still have the passing over to Monkey Moon, but both of them just choosing to back down from there. 2 minutes left. And Dignitas up against it. Need a spark of something, anything, to just reignite their belief that they can do this. Because this has been a relatively flat affair. It might get worse. No, apparently Jack gets in the way just in time.
It's all BDS, and it has been now for the last 2 games as they look unstoppable once again. They've reignited their own flame that was running rampant through the EU Spring Split with just over a minute left. Dignitas are still in with the smallest of outside chances you've ever seen. They need to somehow create 2 chances, score them, and then win 2 more games. It is getting less and less likely by the minute. But this is an improvement on 7-0. You can give them that.
Yeah, from here, if they do end up making it to London, it is one of those things that will enter Rocket League folklore. They need something here. Apparently Jack off the side. Extra and Seiko still just loitering. 1 above the goal, 1 on the goal, 1 away. Scrub killer. Oh, just lost the challenge. Monkey Moon just dove for it. Believed that he would come out on top. He certainly did. Jarius delays, and Seiko is there.
Wait, that save by Monkey Moon was just a flex. He in and out saved. A point blank range 50-50 on the goal line, just to show that he can, just to show that he knows how to generate momentum when he's under pressure from a bump attempt. And there's a 50-50 coming at him. Scrub's trying to pit maneuver Seiko in the back wall there. Seiko shrugging that one off and offloads to Extra. Time's running out. Dignitas split on the brink. Their hopes of a land-in qualification on the brink as well, unless they score right now. And it doesn't look like they will. And BDS will be the team to end their online season. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Time is done. BDS advanced in the lower bracket 4-1. And Dignitas are done. That is their online season over. That is their split completed. Now, all that is left for them is to wait for Worlds.